Everything should not be open to social experimentation and wokeism of the left. And she was bragging about how 30%, she said, by the time I'm done, 30% of the Secret Service will be women. The hell does that mean? And this administration went for it. That's why there's been this cover-up. She wasn't told no. She was told, good for you. Oh, how did this happen? How did this happen? Because you're not focused on your mission. Oh, how did this operation? Wait a minute. How did this happen? Because you're not picking the best of the best. She has resigned, the head of the Secret Service. She should. You're there after 9 days. You ought to come there loaded for bear. I don't mean to attack, loaded with as much information as you can gather on all the specifics. You know you're going to be asked. The American people have a right to know. She ultimately says, well, we'll know in 60 days. 60 days? Is that a joke? How's the Secret Service even going to correct its problems if you don't have a final report for 60 days? I mean, I look at things, and maybe this is wrong. I look at things. I look at a road here. It's a 4-lane road now. It was 2-lane. Took 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I mean, I think the Hoover Dam took 2.5 years or something like that. That's part of the problem that goes on. That's government, by the way. We haven't even talked about government control of these various things like healthcare, how long it'll take to actually get heart surgery or actually to see a doctor. It gets longer and longer and longer, and you die. But don't worry, everybody has equal care, and that's all that matters. Okay. Let's look at some of this. As I said, she's already resigned. This is from Politico, and this is the attack on her by Democrats and Republicans to a man and to a woman. Go.
The assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades. I take full responsibility for any security lapse of our agency.
Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th, yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today.
Were you guessing or lying when you said you didn't turn down requests from President Trump's detail?
So what I can tell you is that for the event in Butler, there were no requests that were denied. As far as requests...
Well, maybe they got tired of asking. Maybe you turned them down so darn much, they said, not worth asking.
How can a 20-year-old with his father's AR-15 assault weapon climb onto a roof with a direct 150-yard line of sight to the speaker's podium without the Secret Service or local police stopping him?
I will say we are 9 days out from this event, and I would like to know those answers as well.
At any point Saturday, did the Secret Service have an agent on top of that roof?
Sir, I'm sure as you can imagine that we are just 9 days out from this incident.
Hold on now. You don't know if you had an agent on the roof 9 days out? Kind of stupid answer. This is why she had to go. And I guarantee you she was forced out. Why? Well, it's too many negative headlines for the administration. Now, here we have an independent investigation going on, an FBI investigation, an Inspector General investigation, all kinds of investigations. We'll have all kinds of reports and so forth. Well, we have a report on how she got her job. She got her job because Joe Biden pushed for her. Did you know that? That was in the New York Post. That's the truth. Well, we have an investigation on the incompetence of the Biden regime. You may not recall this, but the Secret Service is run by the Biden regime, the Department of Homeland Security. That would be Mayorkas, who the House Republicans impeached, but Chuck Schumer ran interference for him, eviscerated the impeachment clause, and wouldn't even hold a trial on Mayorkas. The amount of damage, blood, death, horror that man has created is really incalculable. Go.
And there's still an ongoing investigation.
I think it's troubling for a lot of us that the number one question everyone in America is wondering is why was the roof left open? And after 9 days, we should at least maybe have a little bit of that information.
So the notion of a report coming out in 60 days when the threat environment is so high in the United States, irrespective of party, is not acceptable.
You should have come today ready to give us answers. I call upon you to resign today.
Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
People just assume that whoever is in charge takes full responsibility.
By the way, Mfumi was especially good. He was very, very good. Go ahead.
When there's never been, at least on this magnitude and scale, this sort of failure. So when members ask you, are you going to resign? And you say you have no intention to. They are perplexed, like many people who watch what's going on.
Not only should you resign, if you refuse to do so, President Biden needs to fire you.
It is my firm belief, Director Cheatle, that you should resign.
I just don't think this is partisan. If you have an assassination attempt on a president, a former president, or a candidate, you need to resign.
Was there a stand-down order, Ms. Cheatle? Was there a conspiracy to kill President Trump?
Absolutely not.
Then how did this happen? And why are you still sitting here not turning in your letter of resignation?
You are responsible for the loss of a life and the shooting that took place on President Trump. You do need to resign. This is bipartisan.
And it was bipartisan. And she didn't come forward. She didn't provide information. And part of the problem here is she has spent a lot of her time bragging about how she's changed the mentality of the Secret Service. You know, they always want to we need manly men in the Secret Service and manly women if that's what they want to be. In other words, we need people who are tough, who are strong, both in mind and body. This isn't a coalition of diversity. This is a single-minded institution that is responsible for protecting our nation, our democracy, our candidates, our presidents, our would-be presidents, very, very important people. Everything should not be open to social experimentation and wokeism of the left. And she was bragging about how 30%, she said, by the time I'm done, 30% of the Secret Service will be women. The hell does that mean? And this administration went for it. That's why there's been this cover-up. She wasn't told no. She was told, good for you. That's a great thing. Same thing's going on at the FBI. Same thing's going on in our military branches, our police forces all over the country. It's not anti-woman, pro-male, pro-woman, anti. It's none of that. It is, what kind of person do we need in what kind of job? That's all. And if you have all these extraneous issues dealing with genitalia, dealing with other issues, then you're not focused on your mission. And this is the sort of thing that happens when people, oh, how did this happen? How did this happen? Because you're not focused on your mission. Oh, how did this operation? Wait a minute. How did this happen? Because you're not picking the best of the best. You're denying certain people an opportunity to go to medical school and become the best surgeons in the world. That's the problem. If you don't treat individuals like human beings, if you're not blind to color, if you're not blind to irrelevancies, then this is what happens. And she has resigned, and she should have resigned.
For all this and much more, sign up for LEVIN TV.